I'm Vince Weston, and this is the secret project. Shh. Be very, very quiet. This is my secret stalled project. I started this about 8 years ago, and what it is a conversion of the Minicraft. Hopefully I can get this in there. The Minicraft 1962 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 2 to a Bentley S2, which, oops, I'm dropping pieces, excuse me, is the car that my wife and I had for our limo back when we got married. I had hoped to have it finished for our 25th anniversary, which was about 8 years ago. And that was about the time that I stalled out and stopped building for a couple of years. This was one of the projects on the bench. What I actually stalled on was this. The grill. Now, the Bentley has a completely different grill than the Rolls-Royce. The Rolls-Royce is square, and the Bentley's is curved. Here's the two side by side. Maybe I can do it this way. Okay, so as you can see, the Rolls-Royce is very square and very angular and flat, and the Bentley's is angled. I don't know if I can really show that without getting it completely dark. It flares back from the center. So I had to scratch build this, and I basically had gotten to, I had the outer frame all done and just got so frustrated by the fins, I guess we'll call them, that I basically gave up. And as you can see, this is not perfect, but it was the best I could do after all this time, and it's pretty close. It fits, and it makes it look like a Bentley. Okay. Oh, by the way, our car was white. I think it was a repaint. And let's see. Oh, I also, this was a fun trick I just finished. Let's see if I can force it to focus. Is the Bentley emblem on there. And also, the other thing that I was going to show you was I did a similar thing for the bumper. A Rolls-Royce bumper. If I can get it to focus, there we go. It has a square piece here and has the Rolls-Royce emblem in it. The Bentley has their emblem and no square, so I had to remove the square from the plastic and reshape it, but there's the Bentley emblem on it. Interestingly enough, that's not a decal. It's actually a piece of paper. I was going to print on decal paper, but I had my test shot looked good enough, so I decided that I would just cut it out and glue it on. I used a little future on both pieces, and I've got to clear coat that again. It's majorly the parts of the conversion. The body, of course, I shot in white. I think it was rattle can, like who's calls it's Krylon or rust. I think it's Rust-Oleum, but gave me a nice white color. Actually, the black that you see in the door seams is the color of the plastic. Uh, I just scribed back down to it to give me my shadow line. And the windows are chromed, which I don't know if it'll show off or not, like they're supposed to be. One of the things I was attempting to do, since this was, the car was pretty old by the time we got to it, so, and I don't even know if it's still out there, being used, but, so I kind of left some of the roughness in it. I did polish the body down fairly well, but not completely. I didn't clear coat it. What you're actually seeing is turtle wax, super shine wax that I had laying around, a sample. And I think it came out pretty good. Like it's really been taken care of. Part of it, that a good thing about the kit, I guess, which I don't have a lot of good things to say, but I'll get to that in a minute or two, is the trunk opens. And what I did was I flocked it basically the same color as the interior. By the way, the shelf underneath in here is actually for the spare. And anyway, I'll show you that in a minute. And so in the trunk, I scratch built one of these. One of the things I found kind of funny when we were there, traveling from, or taking our limo ride from the church to the reception hall, was that the driver had a bottle of champagne for us. And so this is my interpretation of it. The bottom is actually actually wooden, that flowers, miniature flowers for dollhouses were in. I had to shorten it and repaint it. And the bottle itself, I made out of 2 pieces of tube and a little filler and a little bit of sanding. The color is one of those cryptic colors that I'm not even sure. It's craft acrylics, and I had mixed a green that I had that was metallic with a darker green and a little dab of black to get it down to this color. Inside you'll see that there's chips. It's actually just chips of styrene to be the ice cubes, and I've been filling it with Future to give it a glossy look. The kit is simplistic, and strangely enough, you would think with a model that has an opening trunk and an opening hood that there'd be a lot of detail to it, but so I don't trip that. That's the engine. It's one piece, and it clips into the front fenders. You can see the little clip there where my thumb is. And as I said before, it has the spare tire goes underneath the shelf inside the trunk. So I've found out of my stash, or well, my spare parts, a tire to put there. Of course, being that it's supposed to be an older car, and figuring that they didn't probably clean too much, I've painted up a couple of the pieces. This was all one piece, and I used some different silvers and different colors to get different shades. And then I dirtied it all up and put a little Rustall on in the corners and things like that. So there's the chassis and engine bottom. Um, I guess I should go through the interior too. We'll start with the dashboard. The dash I painted. I used some craft acrylic whites in the gauges, and then kind of scraped out some of the dial points. That's so you can kind of see them there. It's not perfect, but you probably won't be able to see it too much. And then when I was working on something else, I noticed in the instructions, I thought I had read this was supposed to be body color, so I painted it white, but it turns out it's supposed to be brown, like the other part. So I slopped on some acrylic Model Master leather, I think it is, and then put yellow, clear yellow over the top. I think that part of it came out pretty good. A little bit better than the bottom. The bottom of the dash I was painting over black, and that's why it's so dark looking. I should have painted it white and started from there, but it's all an experiment, and once again, you're probably never going to see it once the car is closed up. The main interior is one piece also. Seats are all in there. I didn't bother, I just noticed I didn't paint the pedals either. I didn't bother flocking the rug. I just put a mat, an acrylic mat on the seats. One of the other things I did was I had to custom do this back seat. It had a armrest sitting in the middle here, and I didn't really like that because when we were sitting in it, it was all flat. So I carved that all out and then tried to rebuild the seat cushion and what would be the pullout for the armrest. I did do some detailing for the door handles and window buttons. Apparently it's supposed to be electric windows, because you even got a 4 control over here for all the windows. And that's the interior. Cut off a piece of this because this is the glass. You've got your front windshield, your back windshield, and side windows. I'm going to probably cut down the one for the driver's side so his window is open, so at least you can get at least a little look inside. I figure it's going to look like a cockpit of an aircraft if I don't, and you won't be able to see anything really inside. I really don't recommend you buy this kit unless you want to put in hours and hours of work. There's gigantic mold seams and things here, and I'll show you one of the major nightmares is this. If you look right here, there's a huge step where the molds met. I think you can see that. It's on both fenders. And I don't know, the way that the molds were set, there's a lot of places. If I can twist this enough to get it into the light, you can see that sharp edge there and there where all the molds met, and then across the front fender also, and through right up here up to the center. So it takes quite a bit of work to get the body smoothed out, especially with this huge step on both fenders, to get that to sit down to where the doors are supposed to be, because the car is not supposed to have that step in it. And then you get the entrancing flash where the molds met. And it's also up here. And I found that that kind of stuff was throughout the entire kit. Almost every piece had these mold mishaps and flashing that needed to be worked. So it's one reason I don't recommend it, and I'm going to put this back in the box with the kit that it came from, and it'll wind up back in my stash somewhere, never to see the light of day again. One other thing I was going to point out on customization I did was the wheels. They give you 5. Why? I don't know. And it's kind of an odd setup, because if you look at the back, the tires themselves actually have a central point that fits over this. There is no wheel back, and the whole goes onto a metal rod that they supply. So once again, not greatest technology for doing that. But the customization I did to these are I filled all the Rolls-Royce symbols with some super glue and got them rounded. I was going to carve a bee in them, but I decided that's going to be too much work for my little pea brain. And then I just used a Malto pen over the top, a 2mm, and got them back to silver. Also, you notice that there are no clear lenses for the headlights. And these are the tail lights here. I didn't have any amber paint, so what I did was I used clear yellow and threw in a little red into it, and it's kind of come out a little too red. So I'm going to have to retreat those. It was kind of funny when I was looking at the pictures of actual cars. It was hard to tell the difference between the amber lights for turn signals and the brake lights. The red spot right there is the brake light, I guess. One neat thing, I guess, I don't know if I'd call it neat, but they do give you a Rolls-Royce emblem that you can stand with it. And I guess you could stick Made in China on there too, because that cuts off the sprue. I'm not sure who's thinking what on that. And there's Winged Victory. She's not molded very well, but you can kind of tell who she is or what she is. Okay, so that's about the size of it. This is as far as I've gotten at the moment. I was hoping to have this finished by next week, since that's our anniversary, but I don't know if I'm going to make that. I'm going to try like heck, but I'm not guaranteeing it. I'll probably present it to my wife as the glue's drying. Majorly, all I really have left to do is put it together. But thanks for watching. Keep yourself safe, and I'll talk at you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Vincent Weston Models Foam the Dungeon.